This is Steve Halleck with TickTocking, making another video review here. This is an awesome watch. I can't wait to get to it. Before I do, please hit subscribe, boop, boop, right down there. I'm trying to make a lot of cool videos for you guys. I'm starting the video podcast series and some how-to videos or, shorter ones. And, trying to do what I can here to help get some knowledge into the watch world. And of course, bringing you these insane pieces. You can find me at Steve Halleck on Instagram, TickTocking.com, and you are at my YouTube channel already. So today I have a really special watch. This is the Gronefeld Parallax Tourbillon in steel with a steel movement and a hand-hammered steel dial. The Gronefeld brothers, Bart and Tim, they're these two Dutch brothers. They are really the nicest guys that anybody could want to know. And they worked at Renaud and Papi and then went out on their own. Renaud and Papi, of course, is now part of Audemars Piguet, but they make all the complicated Audemars Piguet movements and Richard Mille movements and stuff like that. So the really high-end stuff. So the Gronefeld brothers started their brand, and they make basically exquisitely finished handmade watches, and what makes them particularly unique, aside from cool kind of complications and stuff like that, is their movements are made out of stainless steel, which I don't know if anybody else actually does. But this watch takes stainless steel to a whole other level and really raises it to an art form. And I will show you this case, but especially this dial. So again, this is the Parallax Tourbillon. They made 12 pieces of Parallax Tourbillon that are the normal ones, but they made 5 special pieces with these hand-hammered steel dials. And what you'll notice is, so these pieces are hammered. Each dial is different. I've seen 2 out of the 5 pieces, and they were actually noticeably different. And then the raised parts are all black polished, amazingly black polished. And very rarely does a watch surprise me. I've kind of seen it all in watches, and I usually know what I'm getting. And this watch, I took it out of the box, and I lost my breath. I mean, the watch is incredibly beautiful, and I can't totally capture it with photos or with video. I didn't know. It was never captured well enough for me either. And I know, this watch is for sale and somebody will buy it, and whoever buys it is partially just going to have to trust me that they're going to, as much as they love it enough to buy it, they're gonna know the watch is 100 times better when they actually get it out of the box. It's just spectacular. So anyway, hopefully I can capture some of it in this video. But I wanna go through the functions that are really cool. The first thing I'm sure you've noticed is this actually very cool, very big, open flying tourbillon. And it's got this kind of half arm here that it's a 60-second tourbillon, so it does work as a second hand, but it's also got this huge full-length center running seconds hand. And I've never seen a tourbillon paired like this, like an off-center tourbillon and then a center-mounted seconds hand, and they're, of course, synced up. And the way that they move together is just beautiful. It's really beautiful in person, especially this is black polished and gorgeous, and these hands are all blued steel, and they're like perfectly blued and just stunning. And it's like a ballet that occurs with these moving in sync around. So you can see like at 30 there, and then they kind of cross, but they continue, they line up perfectly and then continue around. And it's just a beautiful and poetic complication. So what these guys are doing is really cool because they're using kind of traditional, not crazy complications like perpetual calendars and things like that, but really well thought out combinations of things that create a whole that is much greater than the sum of the parts. And that's an example. Another example is the setting mechanism. And this is incredibly well thought out. So it has a push button setting, you see here, S and W. W is wind, S is set. And so you wind the watch like this. It's got a 72-hour power reserve. I'm not going to wind it all the way up, but that's a power reserve there. And then to put the watch into setting mode, you do not pull the crown, you push it. And it's a very satisfying push. And it clicks over into setting mode. But check this out. Something even more important is about to happen. Let's watch it go. And then watch what happens when the second hand comes all the way around. So both the tourbillon and the second hand stop at 0 so that you can set the watch perfectly accurately. So now you can move the hands and you can move them to the correct time. And let's say it's 2 o'clock. So we can do it perfectly. And when we go back to wind, the second hand and the tourbillon are going to start and it's going to be set perfectly. So this is just an amazing, I mean, to be able to execute that, especially with a tourbillon, you know, all of the moving energy of this, to be able to stop it and start it like that without breaking it. And it is just really, really cool. It's like very smart watchmaking and using incredibly refined watchmaking skill to make complications that actually matter and impact the wearing and owning of the watch. And I really, really respect that, because a lot of times you just see complexity for complexity's sake. So that's the functions. Also, look at this strap. This strap is awesome. This is what it came on. And just look at the watch. It's just stunning, man. It's 43 millimeters. And let's look at the case too. I've never seen steel that's polished quite this well and refined. And the case is very interesting. Like, notice these lugs, and notice the angle that they left at the end of the lugs instead of curling all the way down and flattening them off. And the way that the lugs attach here to the center part of the 3-piece case is just really interesting. The crown is awesome. It's big and it's knurled and it feels good when you wind it and it feels great when you press it and it snaps. And then of course the movement itself is just beautiful. The finishing that they do is absolutely top notch. It's flawless. I mean, get at this thing with a loop at some point if you ever have a chance to be around one, and you'll see that there's very, very, very little in the world of watchmaking at this level. And then also I love that they didn't mar that outside of the case band with a bunch of stamps and stuff. It's just blank. There's nothing, like, it's just special. This is a special watch. I mean, I'm kind of blown away by this piece right now. I really didn't expect it. Normally, I mean, I get blown away by watches, but normally I know when they're going to blow me away. And this one I just didn't totally expect, and I'm smitten, right? And then just look at the depth and how it changes based on whatever angle you're at. So I'm gonna show you the watch on the wrist. It wears really easily. The way that the case is shaped, the 43 millimeter size wears probably more like a 41, maybe 42, and it's steel, and the movement's steel, and the dial's steel, so it's not very heavy. So let me show you on the wrist. The strap's brand new, so it's not gonna fit perfectly. It's stiff and has never been messed with, but let's get it mainly there. Okay. So there you can see it's really, really nicely proportioned and, you know, kind of 50 shades of gray on the wrist here. It's not too big. You know, it's not like Grubel deep. It's a little bit skinnier than that, although not a skinny watch by any means. But the tourbillon is really, really special. The way that the brass balance jumps out of the all gray, and just the openness that they were able to achieve with that tourbillon, you really don't see. So in a world where tourbillons have become kind of trite sometimes, I think this is a very, very well done, smartly done, and exquisitely executed tourbillon. And everything just works together. It's one of those watches where, yeah, the sum of the parts, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and it's just, boy, it's one you really have to see. But I'm glad that I could bring you the video review and at least show you some of this stuff. I didn't know any of these. I didn't even really realize that it had this push button. I didn't know about the hacking seconds. I didn't know anything before I got this thing in. So hopefully this helps explain the watch a little bit, and I'll be back later. But glad you guys enjoyed, and hit subscribe right down there. All right, see you later.